Once upon a time, Unity bought out a company that made a product called Mechanim. Mechanim is a robust animation system, especially when it comes for character animation. In this lesson, we're going to be bringing in the animations from your 3D package and assembling them into something called a finite state machine. To begin, go to the Models folder, select our hero, and go to the Animations tab. Click on Import Animation and click Apply. We're going to save the time from going into the dope sheet in Blender and looking up when certain animations begin and when certain animations end. And I've got a cheat sheet here in which I'm just going to copy the settings from when a certain action begins and ends. So just follow my lead and let's punch in these values. In this case, we're going to have 3 animations. Click on the plus here. Right away you'll see a name for it and it'll give you a range which specifies the animation. Let's call this one walk. Now walk, I know, takes place on frame 1 to frame 39. I also know that the walk animation loops. All of my rotations have already been baked, so upon this section, click Original. Everything else stays the same. We've got a little preview window up here, so let's just see that the animation is properly looping. And it looks pretty good. If you are running into some issues, not in this case, but with your own models, you might want to play with the range. Let's add another one for jumping. And this one is going to, we're just going to be rather dogmatic about this. This is when it starts, this is when it ends. 100, 121. So just punch in these values. The animation is not going to be looping. And once again, we're going to be setting the root transform rotation to original, not to a root node position, not to any other transform in the model. And let's see how the jumping goes. Okay, the jumping seems to be fine. And our last one is going to be an idle animation. So what the hero is doing when she is not doing anything. So just type in idle. Idle is taking place at frame 64 to frame 99. Idle also loops, and it has the same settings as before. So let's see it, and it's looping properly. And at this point, we have set up our animations. Now, in this case, everything has already been set. If you are experiencing in the future bringing in models from your 3D package, try choosing different options. If you were choosing FBX, try ASCII FBX or binary FBX. Uncheck settings such as optimization of keyframes, or possibly even try another format such as Collada. Let's apply the settings. In order to set up Mechanim, we first need to create an animation controller. This is actually what this is here, so pretend you didn't see that. I'm just going to delete it, and we're going to be creating a new one from scratch. To do so, you've got a little create drop down here. Just choose it and choose animated controller. And we're just going to be calling this hero controller. Okay, our scene is works pretty well for what we're doing, but I don't really feel the feng shui is proper for a Mechanim setup. So let's move our panes around a little bit. I'm going to choose on the project side. I'm going to click on this little drop down up here and choose one column layout and put this right next to the inspector. Console, I'll collapse here. Hierarchy, I will put here. And now I'm going to add another window, window animator, and this is going to be mechanism. So let's put this like so on the bottom. Mechanism is very much like a node-based structure, which is usually preferable to a landscape mode. Whoops, just had Unity crash on me. This is great timing for the crash though, because this gives me an opportunity to tell you that not only should you remember to save your scene, but also the layout. So the current layout that I have here for mechanism, I can go ahead, if you click on the layout here where it says default, this drop down, and then choose save layout. You can give it a name, such as mechanism in my case, and I'm going to click save. So then you can go and you can switch between the different layouts that you have had before. Here's default, and here we can come back to mechanism, and this will be saved even if Unity crashes. Here's how we're going to go about assigning the controller to the object here. So if you currently click on the top parent object of our hero, you'll notice that it has no components attached besides, of course, the default transform class. If you click on add component up here and just type in animator, choose the animator class here, just press enter, and now it'll ask you for two things. First, the controller, which we have just created. Go ahead and drag that in. And then also the avatar. And the avatar you will find once you go into the models folder. If you just open up the hero model here, you'll see all the listings of the meshes and also the animations and also the avatar. This is what's going to be controlling, using the animations to control our character. Go ahead and drag that where it says avatar. The rest you can leave as default. Okay, now currently nothing will be happening because we have no animations assigned. So let's go ahead and start dragging things in. The first thing we're going to do is drag the animation clip in, which is going to say idle. This is simply going to just play this animation all the time. If we just go and click play, we will see that our hero will start playing this animation. And I'm not sure if you can tell here, but she is definitely standing around and waving her arms. And you can definitely see it up here. You can see the progress of the animation that is indicated here in the animator window. Let's make the character walk. From the FBX file, drag in the walk animation straight into the animator field, straight into mechanism. It doesn't matter where you put it at all, but I'm going to put it to the right because I want to put my jump animation above the idle animation. Now, in our case, the character will be skating along, or in this walking, I mean skating, and there won't be motions such as, for example, strafing. But in your case, if you're going to be creating a first-person shooter or a first-person walk or a first-person whatever, you might want to have something called strafing, so meaning the character is moving from side to side. If you are to do so, a useful feature in mechanism is a blend tree. To do so, right-click on the animation, and you don't have to do that because we won't be creating it, or you can if you like. It doesn't matter. We'll delete it in the end anyway. If you create new blend tree instead, and then double-click on the file, you will see that it has a little parameter here which says blend, and a list of motions here. Now, to create different animations here, if I want to, for example, create a strafing animation, I can create 3 animations. I can create a strafe left, strafe right, and based upon that, I will create a parameter here, and I will specify how much do I want the character to strafe, but he's already walking. So walking and strafing, and I want both of these things to be taken into account. If walking and strafing, then move towards this blend tree. So think of it maybe as an internal conditional statement. It's saying, hey, is the hero walking? Yes. Is the hero also strafing? Yes. Okay, then move over to this animation. And then to delete that, just press Command Delete, and then go back to the base layer. And right here, you will have the walk animation. Considering we just deleted that animation, go ahead and drag in walk into the motion field up here. Now, in order to specify when do we want our character to walk, we're going to create a Boolean statement. So, meaning a yes or no statement, true or false. To do so, click on the parameters plus sign up here and select bool. Bool we're just going to be calling walking. And now that we've created the walking Boolean, it currently does nothing because it's not assigned to anything. To assign it, for example, click on the idle animation here, right click on it, and select make transition and drag it over to the walk animation. Once again, we're getting an interesting error up here, probably because I didn't clear something out. These things happen. You can clear these out. I'm assuming something was there that wasn't there before, probably an animation that I created, or it could be the blend tree. In either case, this error is benign if you are getting it, so just press clear. Okay, so now we have this arrow up here, and if you click it, it'll ask you. I'm going to minimize this preview window here. And it'll ask you, it will ask you here, when do you want this animation to take place? So currently it says exit time. When the exit time is at 83% of the idle animation, go into the walk animation. So to see it in action, currently the character will idle out for a little bit and then go into the walk cycle. And there it is. Now he is permanently walking. That's not what we want. What we want is a walking animation upon a trigger. So for example, when we move the character around in a first-person shooter that is a non-mobile platform, this could be a forward button or something similar. And if we choose walking to true, right away, this will never happen unless walking is true, that we can trigger on anything else that we like. So now we see the character is walking. If we uncheck walking now, the character will keep walking. That is because we haven't created a return transition. To create a return transition, right-click on the walk and select Make Transition and drag it back to idle. Now click on this little arrow up here, the transitional arrow, and now I'm certain you're probably clever enough to know that we're going to be setting walking to false. Okay, I'm going to save the scene and press Command P. Okay, the hero is currently standing around. Walking is true, walking is false, walking is true, and walking is false. And the hero will continue going from side to side depending on if we want the walking to take place or not. Now we're cooking with gas. Let's add a jumping animation. Just drag and jump here. And in the same way that we created the walk cycle, we're going to create a Boolean that is going to be jumping. By the way, you'll see that there are many other options up here. Float, integer, Boolean, trigger. We're currently selecting Boolean, so I mean, this is just saying that should the character be jumping? We're saying yes, jump, and we're saying that the hero should be jumping. Float would be good, is how we created a blend tree before. So we can say, okay, is the hero walking? Yes. How much is the hero leaning? So this would be a 0 to 1 value. And you say 0.5, hero's not leaning, keep going straight. Then it'll be 0. He's saying hero's leaning to the left, start leaning left, start going, transitioning to the animation with the hero going to the left. So in this case, just to keep the kind of the game focused, I will select Boolean for both of these values. Actually, I've already created this variable. Okay, so same procedure. I'm going to right-click, make transition over to the jump, select this arrow, and instead of exit time here, I'm going to choose jumping to true, go on jump, right-click, make transition, drag over to idle, click on the arrow going down, and then select jumping to false. Okay, let's give that a save. Command P. Let's see this in action. Currently the hero is standing around. If we choose jumping, the hero jumps. The hero jumps and it doesn't loop. Why? Because we never specified that in our imported animations. We go back and the hero is idling again, walking, and everything looks good.